Hey guys, it's Leanne, the Photoshop Queen of Schmoeville. I'm stepping in front of the camera once again to do a review of the Schmoes Know Podcast from Thursday, September 19th. For those of you who are living under a rock and have never heard of the Schmoes, what the hell? Schmoes Know Movie Podcast is the Schmoes, Kristian, Harloff, Mark Ellis. They do movie reviews and they save ordinary people like me a lot of money because I don't have to see these crappy movies. They tell me what is good, what is bad, what is indifferent, what I should spend my money on. Good guys all the way around. But they have this really great podcast on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. And that shows how much I love these guys because I'm willing to stay up late to listen to this podcast and to watch this podcast. Anyway, this past Thursday's podcast, good show. Mark and Tiffany both out on the road. Hope to see them back next week in Schmoeville. We missed them. Hope they're having a great time wherever they are. We had Ken Knapsack sitting in for Tiffany, and we had Bonnie Somerville sitting in for Mark. And I gotta tell you, Bonnie and Kristian were just zinging each other, left and right, up and down, you name it, they were saying it. The alcohol was flowing, the zingers were flying, everything was really great. Had a couple of guest people in the podcast this week. One of them was William Bibiani. He's from Crave Online. He gave some really great insight into like the different movie rumors that are happening and flying around as far as what's happening with Thor, with Avatar, all that good stuff. Very, very knowledgeable. That's the cool thing about the Schmoes is that they never put stupid people on. I hate to say it that way, but they don't put people on that are going to waste your time. It's people who actually have a clue what they're talking about. And if you're passionate about movies and you're passionate about TV shows, this is what you want to see in a podcast. You don't want it to waste your time. You don't want to be bored by it. And believe me, with the Schmoes, you're never bored with anything. Ken did his, usual outstanding job with his news headlines. Of course, he got the obligatory reference to Disney's Bears coming out in 2014, and I know for a fact that Ken's going to be the first online to see this movie. Anybody that talks about it as much as he does, he's got an inside track somewhere to be the first one. He also made reference to Zac Efron and the little, drug problems that he's been having, and he got off what I think is one of the best lines of his newscast, which was Zac Efron basically saying he's going to be a Jedi bitch with the music from High School Musicals playing in the background. So I almost fell off my chair on that one. Well done, Ken, as always. He always makes it a lot of fun when you listen to it. It's a lot of laughter, a lot of good jokes. Just totally amazing. Middle of the podcast, well, in the beginning, middle of the podcast, El Mayimbe called. He's always got some really great scoops, and he had a couple of doozies from Star Wars Land with Benedict Cumberbatch and whether he's going to be in it or not. And also Michael B. Jordan might be in it as well. So he can always be counted on to do some cool stuff. Another great addition to Schmoeville is when El Mayimbe calls. The guy knows his stuff. Gotta say it. Wildman TV made its appearance again this week. Josh McCouga is one of the funniest guys I've ever heard. He's got this crazy energy about him, and he is constantly going. He stands in back of Ellis 9 times out of 10. Like, that podcast, he was standing back of Bonnie, and he's tweeting, he's drinking, he's checking in the camera, he's dancing around, brings his Wildman TV back, and that's always a special brand of crazy. He loves TV. He's, got some good scoops. He's got some great opinions on stuff. So you really want to listen to him. I mean, it's just good stuff all the way around. That brings me to the other, kind of the elephant in the room and the warning shots that are being fired over the bows here. Kristian and Bonnie. They're obviously good friends. It was a lot of fun. Beer was flowing in a big way. The question of whether Bonnie was getting, a little bit lit or not, as they always do on the Schmoes Know, we're really not sure. But at the same time, she was zinging Kristian, he was zinging her right back. A lot of little things got thrown out there. At one point, Bonnie is teasing that she has a video, and Kristian's, trying to figure out what this is, and it was very, very funny. But they've got a really great banter back and forth with each other. But it it descended the show into this surreal a little bit because you're just waiting to see what else is going to be said. Bonnie is genuinely very funny. She brings a really great energy to the show as well. Like I said, she gets her zingers off. Kristian, does his thing. he's, right back at her. So it's all in good fun. It is. Um, there was a practical joke played at the very beginning where Ken, during his newscast, he actually put up a picture of Kristian and Bonnie as the Harloff and Schmoeville show based on stuff that had happened in the last episode, which was the celebrity dating game where Bonnie chose Kristian after he did a Gary Busey imitation. And for those of you who are watching this right now, whenever you hear him do the Gary Busey imitation, please take a drink. You'll be hammered by the end of the podcast. In addition, the very end of the show, Kristian got a good practical joke off at Bonnie's expense as well when a picture, hello, I was the one who did it, made its way onto the podcast, and it was basically Bonnie with her head superimposed over Katie Sackhoff's body from an episode in Nip Tuck, and in a clutch with Kristian, whose face was superimposed over the guy. I think it's Dylan Walsh from Nip Tuck. So it's a lot of fun, very funny. In a nutshell, if you want to watch good podcast, you want to hear some guys who just genuinely love what they do, and you just want to be part of something that's really cool, be a part of Schmoeville. Listen to the podcast. Watch their reviews. These guys don't steer you wrong. They're a lot of fun. It's a special brand of crazy. You will laugh your ass off. I honestly, if I'm ranking this episode, I rank it up there in my top 5 because there are parts of this that are just like laugh out loud funny. I would give it, in the immortal words of the Schmoes, at least 4.75 Schmoes out of 5. A lot of fun. These guys know their stuff. Love them to death. Would do anything for them. And, glad I could offer a review of this. So, take my advice. Next week, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the Toad Hop Network. You want to watch the Schmoes. You will not regret this. I promise you. So, until then, peace out, Mother Fs. Have a good one.